The wife I've been with for 23 years pleads with me to forgive her and come back to me when her boyfriend breaks up with her. I'm a 50-year-old man married to my wife Amy, who's 48. We've been together for 23 years and have 3 kids: Rachel, 22, Jake, 19, and Ava, almost 18. Recently, Amy confessed that she'd been having an affair with her coworker Matt, 27, for the past 2 years. She told me she wanted to be with him instead. Our kids are all pretty much grown up, and Ava will officially be an adult in 2 months. Amy thought it was the right time to come clean with me. I was devastated by her confession, grateful that none of our kids were there to witness my emotional breakdown. Rachel had moved out for work, Jake was away at college, and Ava was at a friend's house that day. It was just Amy and me at home, perhaps why she chose that moment to reveal the truth. Despite my tears and pleas for another chance, Amy said she couldn't stay in a loveless marriage any longer. Initially, I tried to convince her to stay, but eventually, reality sunk in. Amy tried to comfort me, but her words felt hollow after what she'd done. After half an hour of sobbing, I gathered myself. Amy seemed surprised when I asked her to leave, transitioning from begging to stay to insisting she go. I was surprised by my own words, but I said them nonetheless. If Amy had any response, she kept it to herself and left quietly, adding a few of her things to a packed duffel bag. It was clear she'd been planning to leave, and I felt the weight of her silence as she departed, offering only an awkward side hug that I couldn't even bring myself to return. After she left, I found myself crying uncontrollably for hours until Ava returned home. I felt utterly shattered, grappling with the collapse of my marriage and the betrayal of the woman I cherished. Amy's casual attitude towards her infidelity only added to my anguish. Despite the turmoil in my mind, I've managed to find some stability over the past week, mainly for the sake of my children. They, too, have been deeply affected by the upheaval. When Ava found me asleep on the couch, she could see the evidence of my tears in my swollen, red eyes. Ava kept asking me what was wrong and where her mom was until I finally mustered the courage to tell her. Speaking the truth aloud made it all too real, and I couldn't help but break down in tears once again. It felt a bit embarrassing, but Ava's genuine comfort helped ease the pain. She was just as shocked as I had been when I first learned the truth. In my daze, I hadn't reached out to anyone yet, but Ava took charge, contacting her siblings and our Uncle Eric, my brother. Despite living far away, Eric wasted no time in coming to my aid. Knowing I needed time to process, he moved in to support us through the ordeal. A week has passed, and he's still here, along with all my kids. We're trying to navigate this nightmare together, seeking solace in each other's company. I hadn't anticipated the profound impact Amy's departure would have on my mental well-being, but Eric's swift action proved invaluable. I've been struggling to get out of bed in the mornings, feeling utterly lost without Amy. It's clear I need all the support I can get. My children have been incredibly understanding and supportive, for which I'm grateful. I've spoken to a lawyer, and we're preparing for the inevitable divorce, although I haven't yet initiated the process. She confessed that our kids were no longer speaking to her and had blocked her from all communication channels without explanation. She'd been staying in a hotel for a week, unsure if I would take her back and too scared to ask. Yesterday, she finally called, pleading for another chance and a place to stay. I was stunned by her audacity. My initial concern and sadness quickly turned to anger, a long overdue reaction. I immediately shut down her request, telling her she wouldn't get a second chance after denying me one. Hanging up without waiting for her response, I turned off my phone to get some peace from her turmoil. I was furious that she thought she could simply return to me after her betrayal, expecting me to fix everything as I always had. Throughout our marriage, I tried to mend every argument, often without receiving an apology in return. But this time was different. I couldn't overlook or forgive what she'd done. It was a wake-up call I couldn't ignore. Despite loving her deeply, I realized I deserved better treatment. Asking her to leave and refusing her return was the right decision. considering the house was technically mine. Since I'm the one who bought the house, it's legally under my ownership, and she can't force me to let her live here. Despite this, she's been trying to manipulate me into feeling guilty for not allowing her back. When I turned my phone on this morning, I found several angry texts from her, playing the victim and accusing me of selfishness for not considering her feelings. It's absurd, especially considering she cheated on me. She's even blaming me for our kids' estrangement, which I didn't even know about until she mentioned it. I don't see how any of this is my fault. I don't think I'm wrong for refusing to give our marriage another chance after her infidelity, and I want to ensure I'm not being unnecessarily cruel in my anger. That's why I'm reaching out to you all. Am I wrong for not letting my wife move back in after she cheated on me with her coworker? Update. Thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. Your insights helped me see through Amy's manipulation and reaffirmed my decision not to take her back. I was wavering, but your support saved me from a future of misery and mistrust if I had forgiven her. I've regained my clarity, realizing she doesn't deserve a second chance. It's been a few days since my original post, and she's bombarded me with texts, trying every tactic from guilt-tripping to gaslighting and offering apologies for her affair. But I'm not swayed. She fails to grasp the gravity of her actions, and I doubt she ever will. I'm feeling stronger now, and I've sent Rachel and Jake back to resume their lives. Ava remains with me, though I've encouraged her not to let my situation hinder her own happiness. She's set to leave for college in the fall, and I want her to cherish her time here. My brother is still with us, and I'm grateful for his support. In addition to the emotional toll, Amy's departure has impacted our daily routines. Without her, we've had to divvy up chores differently. My brother has been a tremendous help, offering practical support and a sense of comfort, which I've sorely needed. I know my brother will eventually return to his own life, but I'm grateful for his support during this time. On the legal front, my lawyer and I filed for divorce yesterday. It became apparent that Amy wasn't going to initiate proceedings now that she had nowhere else to go. She wanted to come back. The divorce petition will be served to her soon, marking the beginning of what promises to be a grueling battle. The thought of it is already exhausting, but I take solace in knowing I did everything possible to salvage the marriage. I refuse to shoulder the blame for what's happening. It's solely her doing. I'm relieved that my kids are grown, sparing us from a custody dispute alongside the divorce. Update. Amy received the divorce papers today, and her reaction was less than pleasant, judging by the messages she sent me. While I haven't mustered the strength to block her entirely, I intend to do so soon. Her messages were filled with venom, blaming me for ruining her life and accusing me of seeking revenge for her seeking some excitement outside our marriage. She even criticized my appearance, citing my age and physical changes. While it's true I've aged like any normal person, expecting me to look the same as I did in my 20s is unrealistic. Despite her finding someone else more physically appealing, the commitment of marriage should have prevailed. If she couldn't control herself and sought gratification elsewhere at the first opportunity, then it's a reflection of her character, not mine. If Amy chose to pursue a relationship with someone she found attractive, that's on her, not me. It's pathetic that she continues to shift blame onto me, portraying her actions as acceptable and suggesting I should have fixed myself. Only now, as she becomes my soon-to-be ex-wife, am I recognizing the red flags I ignored for over 20 years out of love. It's embarrassing to admit that, deep down, I still have feelings for her, but I can't deny it. That's what's prevented me from cutting her off completely. However, I pray for the strength to do so soon because I can't endure her insanity any longer. I refuse to witness any more of her cruel behavior. Update. In an ironic twist, Amy is now embroiled in online drama with Matt. According to my daughter Rachel, Amy publicly accused Matt of leading her on for 2 years before dumping her because he saw no future with her. It's foolish of her to have abandoned her life without discussing these issues with him first. It seems Matt had been involved with other female coworkers as well, making him the office mattress rather than someone who genuinely cared for Amy. I've blocked Amy, and so has Rachel, but she found out through a cousin who still has Amy added on social media, as we haven't yet announced her separation to the rest of the family. I believe that the post itself speaks volumes. While I'll inform my family soon, for now, I'm relishing the drama Amy has entangled herself in and admiring the mess she's walked into with Matt. Initially, I despised him for his role in Amy's infidelity, but now I can't help but appreciate the irony. It's the perfect payback for Amy's betrayal and a stark reminder of the consequences of cheating. Fortunately, I'll soon be out of this mess and her life, eagerly awaiting the finalization of the divorce. Update. It's been over a month since my original post, and we're in the negotiation phase for the settlement. Surprisingly, I feel nothing for Amy anymore, even as she tries to engage with me during meetings. She's now living with a friend and has lost her job, perhaps due to her public confession on Facebook. Luckily, her admission spares me from having to prove her infidelity for alimony. My kids still have no contact with her, and for now, we prefer to pretend she doesn't exist. I know it's not ideal, but we'll address the emotional fallout later, once some time has passed. I'm coping better than when I first posted and plan to start therapy once the divorce is finalized, hopeful it will bring healing in time.